One of the most memorable, for better or worse, aspects of Barney and Friends was the Barney costume itself. The suit, a heavy, one-piece costume constructed largely of foam and fleece and originally designed by a small team at ICDA, is a technical marvel in of itself. Looking at this suit from a design standpoint, it's deeply impressive how such an expressive, versatile performance could be commanded of a character with essentially one expression when the costume was in the hands of the right performer. As you'd expect with a character evolution spanning nearly 20 years, the costume itself was updated many times over the years. From major design changes, like Barney's color shift from royal purple to magenta, to smaller updates, like Barney's feet being connected to the suit for the costume built for Season 13, change was a necessary part of keeping a heavily used and abused suit both intact and relevant. But because Barney was largely handmade, unintentional differences between suits would occur, and none were as infamous as the planned duplicate of the 1991 B1 suit, a costume dubbed Evil Twin by his makers. Evil Twin, officially titled B2, was originally commissioned after the successful debut of B1, who appeared first in Barney in Concert, and later in Seasons 1 and 2 of Barney and Friends. If you've seen the original eyes on that suit before the eyelids were tweaked, you can already imagine that they were not setting Evil Twin up for success. Indeed, Evil Twin was marred by a myriad of complications during his production. The iconic Barney fleece was difficult to replicate, as it required a very specific formula, and even then, the slightest environmental factors could affect the color. As a result, Evil Twin's shade was a much cooler purple. The blue undertone sapped a lot of the warmth out of Barney's design, and this color-matching debacle, paired with rising costs, is what eventually led to ICDA requiring the Barney team to order several costumes at once so that they would all utilize the same fleece batch. Another stark difference was that Evil Twin was a solid 3 to 4 inches shorter than B1. A standardized head shell for the costume hadn't been implemented yet, and with a uniform chunk of thin foam, it was difficult to keep a consistent height for the dino. That lack of standardization brings us to our final problem, and why Evil Twin truly got his name. This Barney was scowling. Inconsistencies with the mouth carving gave Barney an uncanny perma-grimace that, combined with an imperfect set of eyes, made for a very unsettling Barney indeed. So unfortunate looking was Evil Twin that he was never used for any film or photographic media, instead being relegated to scarce few promotional appearances when B1 was unavailable. Amusingly, or not if you were a kid in attendance, the very last of the Barney birthday parties, a holdover from the Backyard Gang days, were attended by Evil Twin. If anyone filmed those, I need to see it. The only photos of Evil Twin, what you've been seeing up to this point, were taken after filming for Season 1 ended, where both B1 and Evil Twin went in for repairs. B1's stomach had yellowed after a strenuous 30-episode run, and while it was being replaced, a salvage attempt was made on Evil Twin. The fleece color issue cropped up again, and that's why the corners of Barney's mouth and the arches of his eyes stand in stark contrast to the rest of his skin. Worse still, the obvious and unsatisfactory restoration attempt amalgamated Barney's scowl into a contemptuous, open-mouthed smirk, which is equally as unpleasant. Having no other recourse, Evil Twin was retired and, presumably, destroyed. Perhaps that's for the better. Though a limited team and a non-assembly line process is what gave us Evil Twin, it also provided us with the characters we love as they continue to evolve through the years. As big as Barney became, it was nice to know such a dedicated team of craftspeople were still standing behind him the whole way. As always, if you're looking to learn more, don't hesitate to check out my friends at Barney Wiki and Barney History Fans. Thanks for watching.